Hi guys, my name is Kira Snow and welcome to another one of my travel videos. So this is showing my recent trip to Turkey that I took, and you can see there's a really beautiful view of the clouds. We were super high up in the clouds and you got kind of a nice view of Turkey below. And I was flying out of FCO, I'm not sure what it stands for, I'll put it below, Italy airport, and here we're reaching the tarmac. I kind of got really interested in looking at the different command towers, but this Istanbul airport was phenomenal. You can see just the scale of how large it is, even on the inside. Where you pick up your bags is just ginormous, and they have this huge really shiny statue that was really cool. And here you can kind of get a sense of the size of how really tall the structure is, and it was extremely impressive. San Francisco airport I thought was really amazing, but this one is even more grander. I just got a taxi and started speeding quickly away to the Grand Bazaar. Was my main focus. It's located in Eminönü, but Eminönü is actually pretty far, maybe an hour or an hour and a half from Istanbul airport, so we had to speed over. And in the back there you can see the famous bridge. I believe it's called Ataturk Bridge. And you can see there's a lot of people walking there. Since it's so packed in Istanbul, it's kind of like SF, where you have to walk and take buses to get around. They also have so many ferries. You'll see my journey with the ferry later on, what happened with that. But we're traveling along the coastline, and then across is Karakoy, I believe. And so you can kind of see there's so many buildings everywhere. This place is just really alive and super busy. But it's kind of this combination of both relaxed and busy. The people aren't really rushing. They're just chilling. It's a very different pace of lifestyle than the Western world. People are kind of taking things at their own pace, saying hi to their friends. It's a very communal nature they have. Okay, time to see my hotel. Here's the bathroom. Oh, let's zoom out. Looks pretty cute. Get to the main bedroom. Let's see oh my god, it's pretty tiny. How the view looks. This is a nice view. I'm not sure why this right here feels so narrow. There is a tiny closet and what looks to be a tiny fridge. Yes, that's a tiny fridge. Here's just a picture of the bed from different angles. And here is me taking a trip to Karakoy. My goal was to visit Galata Tower. So I'm just kind of passing through in a taxi. The streets are really full with a lot of shops and people. The streets are a lot more narrow than in the West also, which was interesting for me. Yeah, normally there'd be a lot more people, but I was here kind of in the morning time, so that's why there's less people. But there's Galata Tower, the famous Galata Tower. Yeah, a lot of things are kind of closed in the morning and it opens up like later in the day. Here's me cheesing with my Labubu. And fun fact, Salt Bay's restaurant is actually nearby Galata Tower. And finally, we get to the Grand Bazaar, which is what I wanted to do the whole time. Like, that was my number one reason for coming to Turkey. And immediately when you walk through the halls, it's just chock full of like shops. And I actually really love the design work of the building. The kind of red and turquoise, like little archway decorations are super beautiful, and it makes you feel like you're just transported to another time, like an ancient time, which I'm pretty sure this bazaar was still going during ancient times. So it's really special to be here, and they have everything you could ever imagine wanting. And I stumbled upon there's actually a cafe inside, which we'll see later. Oh, and they also had Labubus, if you were wondering. They had Christmas themed Labubus. And there's what looks like to be these fountains everywhere for, like, I guess washing your hands maybe. But they look like really pretty fountains. And this, like, I think it's a sewer grate, was also very gorgeous. They had these really cute looking chairs and tables that are a lot lower than the Western chairs, but they look like very ornate. And here is one of the souvenirs I got. I got baklava and lokum, which are like sweets that are chewy. Here is the cafe that I went to. The food was extra yummy. I got beef, like some sort of meatballs. And then I also got some appetizer with it and salad and a berry drink, which was really good. And they had some decorations of like a bunch of teapots that had been used, a huge wall of teapots. So that was really cool. The interior design here was also like super amazing. All in all, I would have to say this cafe was pretty much perfect. And it's called Sarka Vesi. And I guess they also had a little page talking about how they make Turkish sand coffee, and it's like an Ottoman originating way of making coffee, which is really interesting. But yeah, walking around was really interesting. I'm not sure why the lights were flickering, but this is just a very busy place, and people are really heckling you for trying to make a sale, which was a little bit awkward at times, but you know, people were still friendly as well. The insignia was really interesting and beautiful. They had these all around, basically in all the hallways. And here's a tea sample I got. It had roses in it, and it actually tasted really amazing. Here's one of the really friendly cats we saw. This one was kind of sleepy, but he was kind of playing around with me too. Here's one of the mosques I saw. It was actually called Suleymaniye Mosque, which is really peaceful and comfortable. It was actually built by the Ottoman architect. It was built by Mimar Sinan, and construction started in 1550 and ended in 1557. And what was interesting to me is that even though it was pretty late, like around 9 or 10, it was still really busy outside with people coming and going. This is like a very busy community area where people just shop because there's tons of shops, and it's really alive because there's also a mosque nearby. But the moon was really nice looking and it was actually perfect weather, so it was very comfortable and I felt pretty safe. And here's me in the mosque. I just saw people going inside, so I decided like, hey, I'll just go check it out. And there was people coming and going. I think they went in to pray. I didn't go inside because I didn't want to bother them. Um, but here are some pictures of the mosque. It was absolutely stunningly beautiful. A lot of detail goes into this. And there's also another cat just chilling there. But I was really blown away by just how like ornate and the attention to detail of this mosque. It was truly like one of the most beautiful and peaceful places I've ever been. I also didn't feel like unwelcome. Like it felt just very casual and like o- strangely it felt really okay for me to be there. It's not like when you go to church in America it feels very formal, but that's not how it is in Turkey. And another interesting thing is when it's the end or when the bazaar is closing, they play a call to prayer. So it's just like a little, I don't know if it's a recording, but it's like a song that plays and it's playing, and that means it's time to close up shop, which was very interesting. Here is Yenikapi Park, and there's like a walkway along the water where you can kind of stroll around. I wanted to take the ferry, but it was closed, so that's how I stumbled upon this park and at nighttime. And I actually walked to the park, and then from the park I walked to this mosque because I saw another mosque in the distance that was super lit up. It's this kind of orangey pinkish looking mosque, which is funny because this is actually known as the blue mosque, but for me it was nighttime, so to me it looked like the orange mosque because of the lights. But this is actually a really famous mosque called Sultan Ahmed Mosque, and it's kind of colloquially, as the Americans and rest of the world, I guess, maybe know it as the Blue Mosque, or at least that's the popular name of it. This was also a really old mosque that was had the construction started in 1609 and was completed in the year 1617 by Sadefkar Mehmed Aga. And even though I wasn't able to go inside the mosque because it was really late, you can see this mosque from like miles away. Even with they had I think around like 15 feet walls like kind of protecting this mosque so you can't get in after hours. Like even with those big like walls around it, you can still see like I got some pretty amazing pictures. So that kind of gives you an idea of how gigantic this thing is. Like it's it's just something amazing you have to marvel at. And the minarets were really like they look like they're reaching to the heavens practically. So it was a real treat to be able to just, kind of admire it from afar, even though I wasn't able to go inside. At this point, I think it's also having some reconstruction done on it, which is why one of the pillars looks like that, but it was still beautiful nonetheless. So after visiting the mosque, I needed to charge my phone really badly, so I was desperate looking for a restaurant or any sort of cafe open late, and luckily I found one nearby. They actually had on their sign next to the menu, like, I think they had a sign that was like, we have chargers or something like that, so I think they know, like, what people need. But strangely enough, it was like a restaurant and hookah bar lounge, so this is that area. I ordered some chicken wings with rice and a smoothie. The smoothie wasn't anything too amazing, but the chicken wings were some of the best chicken wings I ever had in my entire life. And the live music was really kind of cool to see, and he sounded really good. I had never been in a hookah lounge before, so that was kind of different for me to experience. But it wasn't really weird at all. It also seemed like very casual and chill. So I ended up Ubering back home, and the next morning, this is where I go. I will have to continue this in a part 2 because the video is getting a little long, but if you would like to see the rest of my Turkey adventures, make sure to like and follow, hit that subscribe button, and if you want to support me and my channel, make sure to comment and like the video, and also make sure to follow me on my other socials like Instagram and TikTok. I'm hoping to get the part 2 video up by at the latest June 3rd, and I usually post my videos usually around 9 or 10 a.m. So be on the lookout for that. But I'll see you in the part 2. Bye guys.